Hi and welcome to this week's Wu Wei Wisdom Life Lessons teaching. It's great to be back with you all. This week we are talking all about the number one mistake that people make when it comes to working with the law of attraction. Okay, David, so law of attraction success and working with the law of attraction. What is the number one mistake that most people make with this?
Okay, Alex, so we'll have to take this apart a little bit to make it clear what we're talking about. I'm really grateful for The Secret and the law of attraction because it's brought people's attention to this concept of what you think and how you attract things into your life. From a Taoist perception, it's slightly different. The wording is Yi Dao, Qi Dao. Yi is Y-I, and that means intention. Dao is the way. The way of your intention, Qi, your energy, is the way of your energy. Yi Dao, Qi Dao. So actually the law of attraction goes back many hundreds of, perhaps even thousands of years, right into the history of Taoism. Yi Dao, Qi Dao. So it's getting your intention right and getting your energy to follow your intention. And this is the number one thing that people get wrong, is they go and they read The Secret or other law of attraction books, and they come out with affirmations, what they would want to happen, what they would really want their lives to be, but they don't change their core beliefs, which are holding them back. It always reminds me, I don't know whether you remember several years ago when I was doing a talk on this subject, and one of the ladies put the hand up and she was kind enough to stand up and she says, "It doesn't work, David, it just doesn't work." And I said, "Well, could you explain why?" She said, "Well, I've been following Louise Hay, and every morning for 6 months," do you remember the lady? Yeah. I sit in front of a mirror and I look at the mirror and I go, "You are beautiful. You are gorgeous. Today is going to be a wonderful day. You are going to be successful. You're going to achieve everything you want to achieve." And she said, "Religiously, David, I've done that every morning for 6 months and it doesn't work." So I said, "Well, thanks for sharing that. Can I ask you one thing? When you look in the mirror and you say those things, do you believe it?" And she said, "No, of course I don't." And there's your problem. If you say an affirmation or you'll set yourself a direction of travel, an intention, but you don't believe it yourself, you have now created a separation, a confusion. And actually what you're attracting in your life is that confusion and that separation. You're actually attracting more of the same problems. So to get this right, the number one mistake is you've got to first of all look at your core beliefs. What you believe, why you believe it. How many times have I said that? What do you believe? Really, not what you would like to believe. Here's the difference. Not what you think you should believe, not what you think the real answer is. What do you actually believe?
And so, David, what I hear you saying here is if we have intentions or goals or things we want to attract and we speak them out loud in an affirmation or we act them out. So acting as if is a big thing in the law of attraction. If you haven't already got it, pretend like you have got it, acting as if. Or if we write it out, a lot of people say, write out a check for $1 million to yourself and put it in your purse and you'll manifest it. All of those things will not work if there is a deep-seated part within us, our core beliefs, that in essence is pulling in the opposite direction, is subconsciously resisting what we are intending, what we are saying that we want. There's an inner resistance, and that inner resistance, so it could be, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, I'm not going to be able to cope with this, this is going to be a bad outcome. I don't deserve this. I'm not lovable. All the things we talk about in all of our teachings, that has those core beliefs which are embedded within our psyche, have a greater power and a greater energy than any well-crafted affirmation or any acting out or speaking out about what we would like to happen.
You're absolutely right, but it's even more serious than that. Because how you just described it is perfect. So we have a deep-seated, I'm not good enough. Let's use that one. I'm not good enough. You really believe that in your psyche, whatever you want to call it. Then you say, how do I resolve that? By the way that you just said, I'll act it out. I'll write it every morning. I'll make an affirmation that I'm going to be successful. Now what you've done, exactly as you described, you've now created, you call it an inattention. You've created that disruption in your life. Your energy is not flowing right now. And so what do you attract in your life? More of the same. More disruption, more resistance. You're attracting this unbalanced energy into your life because that really is what's going on inside of you. So you can say one thing and you can do something else and think something else. When I'm working with a client and I ask them a question, they will sometimes say to me, I know what I should say here. I know what the right thing to say is here. But I say, you're not helping you and you're not helping me. Tell me what you really believe inside of you. And this is the difference. Most people will make those affirmations, write those journals, write out the check for £1 million, put it in their bag, but they don't believe that. And they've not connected to really what they believe and why they believe it. And this is the number one mistake, because rather than getting down that road or going down that road, they've now presented another energy of confusion, of turmoil, of resistance, of not being clear, of being confused. This is the energy that's going to attract more of the same into your life. And this is why it's the number one thing that you get wrong. Before you start building your affirmations, you've got to make sure the foundation you're building on is clear. You own it. We call it being accountable or being self-responsible. Do not make another affirmation if you have an opposite view inside of your belief system.
And when you were saying all that, David, I kind of got a visualization that, yes, it's really important. So it's a bit like a garden, you know. It's important to plant well-cultivated plants, cultivate them well, nurture them. So it's important to craft authentic intentions and affirmations and all that side of thing, and then to act, to take action, not just to sit back and expect life to come at you, to take action. But they're almost like the plants that you plant after you've done the groundwork.
That's right.
So you clear out all the weeds, all the rubble, all the things that have been tipped in the soil that are not nourishing. So we have to do that foundational groundwork of ensuring that our core beliefs, often the beliefs that we've carried with us from childhood, that our inner child is clinging to, are authentic and correct, and provide fertile ground as opposed to disruptive or disharmonious or kind of barren ground that our beautiful intentions will not prosper or thrive in once we plant them.
That's a wonderful analogy, Alex. I can't improve on that. The work that we're doing here, your core beliefs are the soil. And you have to nourish the soil. You have to, as you said, make the soil. You can go and buy the most expensive plants, but if you put them into that poor soil, yes, they'll kind of grow, but what you'll have is not your intention. You'll have something in between. fantastic plans that you have to keep on pulling out and replacing because you haven't done the foundations. And that's why that analogy, as Alex has just shared with you, is so perfect. Because when we're talking about the core beliefs, what do you believe? Why do you believe it? The why is probably the more important. You have to be honest on what do I really believe and why. Why do I believe that? And as we say in many of our teachings, this is probably not even your belief. Have you ever thought about that? Is this belief actually your belief? Or is it something you've inherited or got from someone else? It's their beliefs about you, and you've inherited or taken on that belief. It's not even your belief in the first place. And using Alex's analogy, you haven't tended and made your soil like fertile and cleared all the rubbish out of it. And then you're going to buy expensive plants and putting them in poor soil. And this is why this is the number one thing that goes wrong with the law of attraction, or Yi Dao, Qi Dao. You don't start at the very beginning. And that really, you see, is the message of Wu Wei Wisdom. It's starting at the beginning, finding, we put it in 3 stages. We haven't done this for a long time. Find it, own it, then you can change it. Find what you believe. That's what we call the golden thread process. The golden thread process is a process of self-inquiry. The why. Why do I think that? Why do I believe this? Why do I act in this way? Own it. And I can tell you that is the most difficult part with my clients. Getting them to own a belief. Why is that difficult? Because they know it's a crazy wrong belief and they're intelligent people. Yet they want to keep that belief and lock it away. No, own it. Bring it out into the sunshine. If your soil isn't good, you have to dig up the bad soil and put new soil in. You have to do that work, because then you can change it. Find it, golden thread. Own it, accountability. Change it. Now that's your responsibility. Do you want to change it? Do you want to do the work before you go and buy the expensive flowers to get your soil correct? I would say this is the wisdom. This is the number one thing that people do. They read a book and they go, oh, I can just write some affirmations. I can put them on my mirrors. I can look at them every day. That's going to change my life. No, it won't, because the core belief is still the same. The soil cannot hold the flowers, the plants that you're going to plant.
And we've done several teachings on understanding your beliefs and changing your beliefs to help you with this process. And I will put links to those teachings in the show notes. And I guess, David, what we're aiming for is an alignment.
Yes.
An alignment. It's almost like there's a discordance between a lot of people's intentions and affirmations with regard to the law of attraction, what they want to attract in terms of their health, wealth, relationships, and their core beliefs of worthiness, lovability, being able to cope with everything. There's a mismatch. And as you said, that sends out a confused, discordant, disruptive message to the universe. And so we don't attract what we want. But if we can do the work on the beliefs, then it brings everything into alignment. It's like the beliefs ring true and are directly related and ring true with the intentions. Then we put the intentions into action. We act out. But there is no mismatch. There's a purity of a thread and alignment between all two. And that is what then sets out a clear, unequivocal, strong message to the universe. And the universe picks up on that energy and aligns with it, matches it.
I just want to go over one thing. Everything you said, as I agree with. But I think this is more profound. When you have that discord that Alex has just explained, that tension, that inattention, that becomes the message you're sending out. And then the universe, the world, chi, energy, whatever you want to call it, aligns with that. So you get more of the same. Think about this. You can think one thing and think something else and believe something else. That creates that dissatisfaction, that upset, that turmoil, that's what you're sending out. That's what's attracted as into your life. Think about your life. Think about how you're living the life. Your analogy of the garden is perfect. Think, is your soil good? Are your core beliefs about yourself, about your life, about your intentions, are they pure? And that will then sort out this problem and solve the number one thing that people get about the law of attraction. I'm always a little bit, I don't particularly like using that law of attraction word. I have to, because that's what people kind of relate to. But a lot of them think about the book called The Secret. And we're not talking about that book. We're not talking about those teachings. We're talking about something more fundamental, about your intention in life, about your energy, your core beliefs. This to me is more a spiritual teaching about you, what you believe, why you believe it. The first work has to be done. What do I really believe? Not what I should believe, not what I tell people I believe. This is about you. What do you really believe? And why do you really believe that? And then, as Alex says, look in the archives. This would be the golden thread process. This would probably be the inner child, definitely to do with your Shen. Get that bit right first. Get your soil healthy. And then you can plant in your affirmations, in your intentions, because they will be aligned.
Wonderful. Thank you, David. And I will also put a link in the show notes to our Law of Attraction video playlist. And there are many, many more teachings on there of the Wu Wei Wisdom approach to the Law of Attraction, including a beautiful Law of Attraction guided meditation that David has done for you. I really hope you've enjoyed this teaching. Please do let us know, and perhaps share it with someone else who you think it may also help. David works every week with clients all over the world on their law of attraction issues and dealing with those pesky core beliefs. If you'd like to learn more about David's consultation via Zoom, I will also put a link to those in the show notes. And finally, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We produce new teachings every week, and we would love to share your journey with you. Bye-bye.